Title: Unraveling the Sudan Conflict, the battle between RSF and Sudan Army. Background music: soft, ambient instrumental. Narrator: Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Unraveling the Sudan Conflict. In today's edition, we dive deep into the intense battle between the Rapid Support Forces, RSF, and the Sudan Army, two powerful factions vying for control in Sudan. Join us as we explore their underlying causes, key players, and the consequences of this escalating conflict. Transition music, drum beats and tense strings. Narrator: in a serious tone, the story begins in the war-torn nation of Sudan, a country plagued by political instability, ethnic tensions, and economic struggles. Since the ousting of President Omar al-Bashir in 2019, power dynamics have been in constant flux, and various factions have emerged, each seeking to shape Sudan's future. Background sounds: crowds protesting, shouting slogans. Narrator: with empathy, the people of Sudan, tired of decades of oppressive rule, took to the streets, demanding a transition to a civilian-led government. However, this transition has not been smooth, as different armed groups with vested interests vie for control and influence. Transition music, sudden change in tempo. Narrator: one of the most influential factions in this conflict is the Rapid Support Forces, or RSF. Formed from remnants of the notorious Janjaweed militia, the RSF, under the leadership of General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, commonly known as Hemeti, quickly became a powerful force in Sudan. Background sounds: RSF military parade. Narrator: the RSF's rise to power can be attributed to their brutal tactics and their alleged involvement in various atrocities. They possess a formidable presence on the ground and have been accused of human rights abuses, including attacks on civilians in Darfur and other regions. Transition music, tense build-up. Narrator: opposing the RSF is the Sudan Army, a faction representing the traditional military establishment in Sudan. Led by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, the Sudan Army has historically held significant influence and control over the country. Background sounds: military marches. Narrator: however, as the RSF gained power, tensions between the two factions grew. The struggle for control and supremacy intensified, leading to a series of clashes and armed confrontations. Transition music, dramatic pause. Narrator: to gain a deeper understanding of this conflict, let us hear from our expert, Dr. Sarah Ahmed, a renowned scholar on Sudanese politics and conflict. Background sounds, recording switches to interview setting. Dr. Sarah Ahmed: the RSF and Sudan Army represent two distinct power centers in Sudan. The RSF, under Hemeti's leadership, draws its strength from its deep ties to local communities and its ability to mobilize resources. On the other hand, the Sudan Army, with its institutional structure, possesses significant military capabilities and enjoys support from certain international actors. Background sounds, recording switches back to narrative. Narrator: the battle between the RSF and Sudan Army has created a complex web of alliances and divisions, among other armed groups in Sudan. Some factions have aligned themselves with the RSF, while others have thrown their support behind the Sudan Army, further fueling the conflict. Transition music, rising tension. Narrator: as this conflict rages on, the Sudanese people continue to bear the brunt of the violence. Civilians are caught in the crossfire, facing displacement, loss of life, and a dire humanitarian crisis. Background sounds, sirens, cries of distress. Narrator: the international community has closely monitored the situation in Sudan, with calls for an end to the violence and the restoration of stability. However, finding a resolution to this complex conflict remains a daunting task. Transition music, reflective. Narrator: as we conclude our exploration of the battle between the RSF and Sudan Army, it is evident that Sudan stands at a critical crossroad. The choices made by its people and the actions taken by its leaders will shape the nation's future. Background music, soothing instrumental. Narrator, thank you for joining us today on Unraveling the Sudan Conflict. We hope that through increased awareness and understanding, we can contribute to a peaceful resolution and a brighter future for the people of Sudan. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged. Background music fades out.